But maybe that's the question, right? What kind of well water do you have? Are you on city water and take it for granted, or are you on a well and assume that you will never have a problem? So the other morning, my wife wakes up and tells me, or asks me, what's wrong with the water. At this point, I'm already drinking coffee. I got no idea what she's talking about. But sure enough, there is no water flowing out of the faucets. I thought, well, it got cold last night, but it didn't get cold enough to freeze. So I got to start doing some troubleshooting. I got to start figuring some stuff out. And so I want to kind of walk you through where I went from beginning to end and some of the other things that could have happened along the way. So we're gonna take a look at all of our components here and talk about some things. And when you see it, if you do, before I tell you, leave a comment. And obviously I'm not gonna know if you're lying or full of crap or not, but it'll be interesting to see. So a couple of primary things that can go wrong with our well. We got our tank here, which could have been the issue. Of course, I catastrophized for a second and thought that maybe it could have been the pump, because it's going to be the most expensive part. But there's some things I had to do in the meantime to figure this out. So obviously after I switched the breaker on and off, made sure that was good. I came out to make sure I had pressure. Right. There's a diaphragm inside the tanks, and if that diaphragm is busted, you're gonna have problems pushing water out, right? And then I came over. Again, make sure, pull out, put it back in. It's basically a breaker right here, right? Electrical cutoff. And back here I got my gauge sitting at 60 pounds. I got a switch that's a 40-60, right? So it turns on at 40, turns off at 60. Got a filter that's a little clogged. I need to get that sucker cleaned out. I'll do that at the end of the month. So come over here. So the next thing I did was I tested my switch, and I'll show you the footage of my old switch. But we'll pop this guy off. And it looked almost exactly the same. Got two blacks on one side, two whites on the other side, which is what you want. But I had a problem. As you can see, my two blacks were both hot. Of course, I had less than 40 pounds, so the whole thing should have been working to turn on the pump. Two blacks were hot, one white was hot. Obviously the power coming in, but I was not getting power going back out on the white side. So that told me that this switch was faulty. Now, I happened to be at work, and I had a good compadre come by and switch this out for me, and got it back up and running in no time, right? So, if it hadn't been for that, then I would have had to consider that it was going to be the pump. Now, folks who built this house, the widow that I bought it from, I knew that we had a drilled well and a bored well. At some point in time, they switched everything over. But maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't see it. But there's a problem, right? This is obviously the old bored well being much more shallow than a drilled well. And so my drilled well is sitting under this rock right over here, right? So this is going to be my project for this fall before wintertime comes again, because I need to get some better insulation and everything just needs to be put together. Like, it was just kind of a lazy, half-ass job to leave your electrical and your plumbing here, and then but connect it back to the drilled well, so everything's running from house to here, here to there, there to here, here to there, right? Kind of dumb. So a couple key lessons. I need ramp up a few spare parts, so I got to get a spare switch. I obviously have a brand new one here. I'm gonna get a spare to keep in the garage, and then when I go and I move everything up over to the drilled well, I'm gonna get a new tank, and I'll keep this tank as a spare. And then the only other thing that could go wrong would be the pump. This pump is almost 1,000 feet down. Pretty insane. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a hand pump out here on the drilled well, or the bored well. A little pretty hand pump or whatever. But that way at least I can get some water to water gardens, flush toilets, or whatever the case is, if things went sideways, which they obviously will do from time to time. So team, I'm looking forward to the conversation down below, however that turns out. Just wanted to share a lesson learned and some things that can go wrong if you are on drilled, or if you're on a well, right? But maybe that's the question, right? What kind of well water do you have? Are you on city water and take it for granted, or are you on a well and assume that you will never have a problem? We'll keep this conversation rolling, man. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked. Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date with future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.
We know you're out there! Come to my voice!